Hi guys, I wanted to come on today to let you guys all know that I made it to 50 subscribers. So I wanted to come on and do something special for you guys and just to kind of celebrate, one milestone being on YouTube and it being just a couple weeks since I started. So I kind of just want to share with you guys 50 things about our family that you don't know. Some of my subscribers are family members, so they're gonna know some of this. And the other ones that are new to my channel, you guys wouldn't know this. So I hope this is something a little special for you guys to get to know all my kids and me and my husband. And I'm just going to do a quick celebration to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel. So I'm going to start with my husband, Lauren. He's an electrician. He worked at KFC. I didn't even ask him, so I don't know when he did. I think it was like in high school or something like that. He worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken. And he went to school to become an English teacher and ended up becoming an electrician. So that's a couple things about him. And another thing is he was in the service, so he already served, and I think he was like 19 or 20 when he went into the service. He ended up getting stitches when he was a little bit older in life. And the reason why I mention that is because in some of these, we have a couple family members that had some injuries and stuff like that. So we kind of wanted to tie that in there. Not that that's like an exciting thing or something, but that's something that you can kind of know, like, oh, he went through that or he went through that, and what's the story behind the stitches and stuff like that. So I hope that's interesting. Okay, so now on to me. I was never homeschooled. So with us homeschooling our family, it was kind of a decision based on, I have other family members that homeschool, so like sister-in-laws and sisters that homeschool. So that was kind of where our basis came with wanting to homeschool. And my husband also was not homeschooled. And I also recently had stitches about a year or so ago, and I never did actually I lied. I did have stitches when I was little. I bit open my lip and I had stitches in my lip. And then recently when I was pregnant with Evelyn, some of the people at my work know about this, I took my finger out of my car door and tore apart my fingernail and my finger and sat through a work meeting with not a very good finger. It was very disgusting. So I had stitches with that. I worked at Perkins. There was a couple other places I worked, but that was one that, I did hostessing and stuff like that. I think a lot of people know a restaurant, Perkins, but some of the other places that I worked at is kind of like local areas, so nobody would have known. Okay, and then I came from 7, so I have other brothers and sisters, and I'm the youngest out of the brothers and sisters, and my husband also came from 7. He is not the youngest, but he's the second youngest. And the last thing about me, and I think most everybody knows this unless you are not a family member, is I love Dr. Pepper. I live on Dr. Pepper. I don't know what it is, but that's just my thing. That is my go-to drink of anything is Dr. Pepper. That's what it is. I don't drink coffee in the morning, so Dr. Pepper is my go-to caffeine that I like. So that's a little bit about me. Now I'm going to move on to my daughter being the oldest. So she's 26 and she's married. She has 3 little girls. I know this might be a little bit more than 50, but I'm just going to give you kind of like a little lowdown on her. She played piano in high school. When we homeschooled, we took her to a lady in town that taught other homeschooled children. So she did that in that time. And then she is best friends with her cousin. So them two are totally inseparable. If Victoria is like gonna be hanging out with anybody, that would be the person. So them two are only, I think, like a year or so apart. So, oh, one more thing about Victoria is that she married the first person that she dated. So she wasn't allowed to date. I don't know if this is going to be embarrassing to her or not, but I did not allow my children to like date anybody when they were in high school. So she had to wait for an appropriate age, which ended up being around 18, that she could date. And she found an interest in somebody that we knew, and it became very obvious that she liked him. And within a couple months they were dating, and then within a year they were married. And then I think it was like within a year after that they already were pregnant with their first child. So that's a little bit about her. And then another thing is one of her daughters is their middle name is Stephanie, so she is named after me. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to Blaine. So Blaine is my 23-year-old, and he had stitches when he was little. He was jumping on a bed and cracked his head open, and so he ended up with 2 little antenna stitches right here on his forehead. So that's a little bit about his injuries. And then his biggest thing right now is cars. So for the last like couple years, he's so just into cars, loves cars. I can't even name half of the ones that he owns or got rid of, or just, that's just Blaine's thing. He's probably gonna laugh when he watches this video, but that's totally, I have to say, the number one thing about Blaine. So if anybody knows Blaine, it's cars. That's his thing. When he was in high school though, right before he got his license, he worked at a bike store. So he did do bike races. The store was involved in racing, and he kind of just ended up loving the sport. My husband had a bike. He started just riding all over, and then ended up competing in bike events. So it's something extra about Blaine that maybe some of you guys didn't know that he enjoyed doing. He does have a girlfriend, so she is in college right now. So that's another thing. They've been dating. Oh, they are going to kill me. But I think it's been like 4 or 5 years now. So that's a little bit about Blaine. And now we are going to move on to Gage. One thing about Gage, a lot of people do know though, is that when he was 1 year old, we found out that he needed open heart surgery. And within, I think it was like 10 years later, he ended up having open heart surgery. So a lot of my family age was 1 year old up to 10. We would go to Children's every year and wait for the perfect time for that time to happen. And it ended up being at 10 years old, and he is 14 now, and everything went perfectly well with the surgery. We found out in this last year. Okay, sorry about that. Evelyn's getting some teeth, so she's still a little like crabby right now. So you're gonna hear her probably crying in the background. Okay, let's get back to Gage now that I kind of got everything back in order here. I didn't even in any way thought that I would be emotional at all about that part of talking about it. So I'm gonna try to get through that part, but like I was saying, is Gage is the only one out of the 3 patients that his doctor had that ended up with full lung capacity, and some of the other kids ended up having some other issues with their lungs and other medication that they needed to be on. And Gage is the only one that just needs baby aspirin, and that's pretty much it. So that's one thing about Gage. I asked him, I said, you know, if you could say like, what's your favorite food or some snack or anything like that. And he definitely said pizza and tacos. He has a go-kart, and his older brother is the one that gave it to him for his birthday. And Gage likes to cook. So in one of my other videos, I posted that I am not the one that likes cooking. And Gage kind of took on that role and kind of stepped up and helps out with that. So that's one of the things he enjoys. And then his other thing is video games. Gage right now is starting his own channel called Mini Kart Gaming, and he is going to be doing Minecraft videos and Star Wars and I think Fortnite videos. So if you want, check out his thing. And a lot of times I link his videos in my description. So if I forget on this one, you can check some of my other videos out, and it's in there, his videos. Okay, so we're going to move on to Eli now. Eli, a couple years ago, was swinging on a swing and not doing anything goofy like most boys do. This was actually an innocent situation, and he fell off the swing and he broke his wrist. So he ended up going a couple weeks with cast on and having his wrist placed. And after a couple weeks, it kept moving and adjusting, and he ended up having to have surgery done and get pins put in. And this was in the summer, so there was months that he couldn't go swimming and do anything extra fun at that time. And I think this was I think it was like 2 years ago when he was 10. So that was kind of a bummer, but every time he went in, he ended up getting different cast colors, and that made it a little bit more interesting on that. So I asked him, like, what's his favorite, snack that he likes, and his is Chex Mix. So that's one of the things that he will usually go to if he wants a snack. And his favorite color is blue, and his animal that he has is a gerbil. Okay, so we are going to move on to Hudson now. So Hudson's was kind of fun to talk about with his. But so with Hudson, no, I don't mean to pinpoint like every injury and every I don't want it to be like a sad thing. I want this to be like a celebration kind of thing, with you guys. But I want you guys to kind of know like what all my kids went through and just little things about them. So I hope you're not kind of like, oh, this is such a bummer, but it's really not. It's just something that my kids went through, and this is our life. So okay, so with Hudson at a year old, we went to Olive Garden, and he this was like his first table foods, and we ended up giving him some breadsticks. And within a couple minutes, his lips just got so swollen, and we're like, oh no, what are we gonna do? So we were in another town at the time, and I don't know, I think maybe my husband knew where the hospital was, I'm not sure, but we packed up our food, got out of there, brought him to the hospital. We didn't find out until about a month later, because he ended up having another reaction to some of the baby food that he was given. And found out, we did an allergy test because it happened a couple of times, and found out he had an allergy to garlic. So and then found out he also had an allergy to peanuts. So it wasn't just the garlic thing, it was also peanuts. But what's funny is that his garlic allergy was actually worse than any child that had a peanut allergy. So that was kind of like a weird, unique time in our life. And it wasn't until he was 4 years old when he grew out of that. So now he can have garlic and he can have any of that. But the funny thing is he really doesn't like it. And then as for the peanut allergy, he still has that. So that's something about Hudson. So he also has a hamster. His favorite drink, if anything, is coffee. So anytime I get a cup of coffee somewhere or whatever, I try to make sure he gets decaf. But that's his little treat, if anything, because we don't do coffee in our house. It's more just if we were, maybe at church, or if I go to McDonald's or something, I'll kind of share my coffee with him. He's my coffee buddy. Okay, so this is kind of a funny one. one thing about Hudson is he has this red and black plaid shirt, and for a while there he was wearing it every Sunday to church, and I kind of just said, that's enough. Like, you are not gonna wear this plaid shirt ever again. So today, I have to laugh, and this is why we added it today, because he hasn't worn it in a very long time, just because it was summer, but I would not wear it. So he wore his plaid shirt today. So we wanted to add that his plaid shirt is part of his life, and I'm not sure what he's going to do. I might even make it into a pillow cover or pillowcase or something when he can't fit into it anymore. That's probably a good idea. So that's one thing about Hudson. He loves his plaid shirt. And then another thing with Hudson, of all 10 of my children, he's the one that has my nose, my looks. Some people think he looks like my husband, but if anything, he's one of the kids, because a lot of kids look like Lauren, but he's one of the kids that look more like me. So now we're going to move on to Miles. He also has a hamster. Now, in one of my videos, I kind of stated that I eventually would share with you guys some of the animals that we have in our house. And I kind of told you that Eli has a gerbil, Gage has a hamster, Hudson has a hamster, and Miles has a hamster. So that's some of the things that they wanted to share with you guys today. And then Miles, right away when I asked him his food, and I should have known this one, and I should have already had this written down, but he loves bacon, and I know we all love bacon, but he's like, he loves bacon. And every time we would make bacon in the house, he would wear this bacon hat. I should have brought it on here. Maybe I'll catch him on there someday. Maybe I'll figure something out, but he loves bacon, and he would just wear this hat every time we made bacon. So that's like his thing. And then he also wanted to share with you guys that he loves the color orange, and his hair is the whitest hair in all the kids. So Eli was a real light blonde hair colored, and Miles ended up being the lightest hair. So we kind of went from really dark brown hair with Victoria, and everything just went kind of like ended up getting to be really blonde. And then Gage is dark brown, but after Gage, everybody ended up being light blonde. And in summer, it gets even lighter. So with Evelyn, when I had Evelyn, you know what? I'll tell you that at the end, because when I get to Evelyn, I'll share that with you. But as for Miles, that's Miles's last one, is his white hair. Okay, so now on to Declan. Declan is I should have said the ages to the kids too, but Declan is 6 years old, so he just turned 6. So from birth, he was called the boss. And I always say to him, "You're not the boss," and he's like, "Yeah, Papa always says that I'm the boss," and I was like, "But you're really not the boss." So that's a funny thing that some family members know him as the boss, and he thinks he like can take charge of our household and stuff. Okay. He is the only one in our family, too, that has green-gray eyes. My older two children have more of like a hazel color eyes, and then everybody else just has brown eyes. And Declan has this really cool, like if he wears a green shirt, it's like green. If he wears gray, it's more gray. So he has like green-gray eyes. Has more like, I'll show you guys someday. They're so kind of funky. So his color is blue. And he loves playing video games. So that's what he wanted to share with you guys today. Now on for the twins. So as for Lochlan and Nash, Lochlan is 36 minutes older than Nash. He's also the shortest one of the twins. Nash has always been the tallest. Nash likes yellow. Lochlan likes green. And they both like to play video games. I kind of put them guys together just because of them being twins. Now, as for Evelyn, what I was saying with Evelyn, she is our last. So she's our 10th child. And if anybody knows, it goes from Victoria. And then I have 8 boys in between, with Nash and Lochlan being the twins before her. And when I got pregnant with the twins, I was just like, there's gotta be maybe a girl in there, No, you know, they ended up being identical twin boys. But then we had Evelyn, and with a little thing about her, I don't have like specific things about her, but let me just tell you a little bit story. I said, you know, I am not going to find out what I'm having. So when it came to my 5-month ultrasound, I was like, no. With some of my ultrasounds, I ended up having to go to a different area, not my clinic, because of all the heart conditions that we have in our family. So I ended up not finding out, went to my doctor's appointment, and I ended up finding out that day that she definitely was a girl. And we ended up doing a cake surprise with my older 2 children and my younger children, and celebrated with them that she was our little girl. So with my daughter being 26 and my other daughter being 1, it's a very unique relationship with her sister. So one of the things that I was talking about with the hair color, it ended up being that Evelyn was born with brown hair. And that was one of the things that I thought was so special about Evelyn, is that she ended up being just a little bit different than the boys as for hair color. But now that she's 1, her hair has changed and it's starting to be blonde. And she actually looks like, it depends upon who she's around with her brothers, who she looks more like. So, you know, with us having a girl after so many boys, we thought, oh, you know, is she going to look like so-and-so? Is she going to look like so-and-so? Is she going to look like her own because she's a girl? And she looks, you know, like a girl, but she fits right in with all the boys and she looks like them. So I hope you enjoyed the 50 things about us and the 50 things that you didn't know about us, and that I hope that gave you a little bit more understanding of who we are and where we came from, and some of the like little things that we like. It was kind of fun going through all this stuff and sharing this with the kids and just getting their advice on it. And then I am so grateful though for all, just, you know, for the followers that I have right now, that you are able to follow our journey with homeschooling and follow our family as we learn how to get along being a family of 10. Even though I have, you know, the 2 that are out of the house, we still get together and we still have to grow as a family. And this is one of the ways that I can share with you guys a little bit about that. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.
Thank you for subscribing to our channel, and we so far have 50 subscribers, and we just wanted to celebrate with you guys. And does everybody want to say thank you?
Thanks.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, wave.
Oh no, all of our confetti. Where did it all go?
So that's pretty much all of my subscribers.